In this video, I'm going to be explaining the basics of frame-by-frame animation. So what you'll see here, this is the example file from lecture 2. It's called Tweens 2. And what we have is a stickman symbol and a trampoline symbol. So what I've done is I've put them each on their own layer. So the stickman is this layer and the trampoline is this layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very simple frame-by-frame animation showing the stickman jumping up and down. So it's not going to look very realistic, but it will get the idea across. So the first thing we need to do is animate the stickman, because that's all that's going to be moving. So I'm going to turn on onion skin, and I'm going to go in here, let me just zoom in a little bit, and create my first frame. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to make sure that each keyframe lasts 2 frames. It just makes for a lot smoother animation, and it cuts my work in half, essentially. So I'm going to come in here to the third frame, and I press F6 to insert a new keyframe, and using the arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm just going to move the stickman up a little bit. And I'm just essentially going to keep doing this until he is as high as I want him. Okay, so at this last one, all I'm going to do is press F5 to insert another frame. So you can see now my span consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keyframes. And here he is just moving up. So what I can do is I can spend another 5 keyframes making him move down, or I can save some time and select all of these frames, right click, copy frames, select the next open spot, right click, paste frames. Now if I play this through, you'll notice he gets to the top and then he jumps back down and he gets back to the top. So all we need to do is reverse these frames. So I'm going to select all of the ones I just pasted, right click, reverse frames. So it swaps them around essentially, which means that now the man goes up and comes back down. Then the last thing I need to do is you'll notice that the trampoline has disappeared. That's because it doesn't actually reach frame 20. So I'm just going to put my mouse on frame 20, press F5 to extend its frame span so that the man can now jump on a trampoline. So obviously that was only one jump, so what I would want to do is duplicate that again. So I'm going to select all of these frames, right click, copy frames, new, select the blank spot, right click, paste frames, and once again just extend my trampoline, and now the man jumps twice. Okay, so that is pretty much how frame by frame animation works. The principle is basically you create a keyframe, you move the object, you create another keyframe, and you move it again. And you basically continue doing that until you are finished. If I turn on onion skinning, you can see why it's helpful, because you can see the previous frame as well as the next frame. So it gives you some indication of how you should animate the next frame. And that is all I have to say about frame by frame animation.